Hey guys, this is Karthikeya Kantwal from Apex FinServe and we'll be going through our daily routine. We'll be discussing 5 scripts for tomorrow's trading session along with the index outlook and the commodities and currencies that we have recently started. But before we begin a walkthrough of today's trading session for us, what was it like? Well, out of the 5 trades that we discussed yesterday, we had 2 triggers, namely Just Dial and Indecent, and both of them hit the targets, so a 100% accuracy on the watch list. And the commodities segment, so silver was triggered long position at 52,000 a couple of hours ago, and that made the target swiftly as well. So all things considered, it was a very good trading session for us again. So this week has been pretty nice. Even the indices, despite the news that was coming in today, despite the turbulent trading session that it was, the index movement was pretty much in sync with what we had discussed. The levels, they came into play accordingly, and well, it was more or less easily tradable. Now starting with the trades for tomorrow's trading session. So the first one that we have is SRT transfer. Now SRT, if you have been watching my videos, you do know by now that I do give preference to the basic phase analysis, market patterns or market structures. So it has transitioned into clean lower highs. Now the thing is, we do not exactly have a swing high resistance point close by, so we'll be taking the reference point of the earlier swing high. So we'll be taking a short position along the direction of the structure at 680, and the stop loss goes at 690 with the ideal target of 1%. Moving on to the second script that we have, Apollo Hospitals, again going in direction of the structure. It is a clear higher low pattern formation. It has strongly broken the earlier resistance from where it was rejected. As you can see, it was making high lows again at that point, but it was rejected. It picked up pace and this time it has broken that. So what we'll be betting on is a clean role reversal of this resistance where it turns into support, and it also more or less completes the idea of a midpoint retracement or 50% retracement for a consistent trend. So we'll be taking a long position at 1450 with the stop loss going at 1435 and the ideal targets of 1% as usual. Moving on to the next script that we have is Just Dial. So Just Dial, I told you guys yesterday that we were to buy above our said level, and it did go above our level and it met our target too. But the thing is, in the market sell-off that followed in the afternoon session, Just Dial, it lost all its strength. So as a result, it is now again back in the downwards channel. But because of this today's sudden breakout or sudden spike breakout of the channel, what we'll be doing now is not taking a short position at the trend line, but instead taking a short position at one of the previous highs, which was a resistance level, so it should act that way again. So we'll be taking a short position at 380, stop loss at 385, and the ideal targets at 1%. Moving on to the next script, we have PEL. Now PEL, we'll be taking a long position, but it is more or less the same trade that we had yesterday. Alright, we'll be taking a long position only above 1400. The problem that we had today here was it opened above our buying levels. Now I told you guys again, I don't consider gaps to be breakouts of trading ranges or to be trade triggers, and we take the same in our watch list too. So it opened above our buying levels, hence the trade was invalidated, but the logic stays the same for tomorrow. It is a psychological resistance, and if it breaks out, it should again continue the upward movement. So we'll be initiating a long position only above 1400, stop loss going at 1382, and ideal targets at 1%. Moving on to the last script that we have, IndusInd Bank. Now IndusInd Bank, we will be taking a short position, keeping in mind the structural formation, lower highs. It was, if you remember, I mentioned to you guys how it was supposed to take a retracement of this move roughly to 525, 530, but that was broken pretty swiftly, that level, and it turned as a resistance point, and then it has started forming lower high formation. So we'll be taking a short position once this swing low breaks or under 500, and the stop loss goes at 508, ideal targets of 1%. So we have 2 trades for tomorrow that we'll be using SLM order types for. PEL long above 1400 and IndusInd sell only under 500. Moving on to the indices that we have, starting with Nifty. Now Nifty, I told you guys that this break of these ranges 800 and 700, is going to decide the short-term market momentum. I also told you guys the very next day that gap breaks do not count. So what we had today was a gap break. It opened, it had broken this range yesterday and it opened inside the range. Now that should not really be sustainable. That is going to lead to a surge in false demand. Furthermore, we had news as well. So the very simple idea was to wait for interaction at the next available zone or the next available supply, which is exactly what happened, and it fell flat on its face. Coupled with, of course, the news being factored in, people's expectations were not met. So the selling pressure that came in was more than what we expected, but we were on the right side of things, so it didn't really bother us. Now, for tomorrow, we have the same buys again. We will prefer to take trades near these zones, either at 500, 700, or 800, depending on the kind of price action that is available at these zones in live markets. When we correlate these zones with the option chain, we have immediate resistance at 10,700, as you can see on my diary, with 2.5 million standing open interest. Not added, this is standing open interest. We have significant resistance at 10,800 with 880,000 added open interest. On the support side of things, we have immediate support at 10,600 with 570,000 added open interest, and for significant support we have 10,500 with 2.2 million of total standing open interest. So let's see what happens. I would personally prefer to take trades, breakout trades on either of these three zones, because they do line up with the option chain pretty well. Now let's go to the next index. We have Bank Nifty. Now Bank Nifty, again, we have a lot of levels. Alright, we have a lot of zones on Bank Nifty. So there are a lot of possible trades for tomorrow's trading session. But me personally, I would prefer to take a trade on Bank Nifty once it breaks out of these ranges, 21,700 and 21,200. So it's a 500 point range. So if you are an option seller, yeah, depending on how the opening is, you can go for a a middle of the line short straddle or a slightly OTM short strangle, depending on how comfortable you are while writing options, of course. Now don't take this trade because I said so. Take it as a guideline or paper trade on this. I simply do not think really that Bank Nifty is going to go either way strongly, simply because the option chain doesn't have a one-sided advantage. Now when we correlate the charts with the option chain, we have a immediate resistance at 21,700 with 165,000 added open interest, and significant at 22,000 with 290,000 added contracts. Support side, it is 21,100 as immediate support with 97,000 added contracts, and significant support at 21,000 with 230,000 added open contracts. Now let's see how that goes. Personally, if you want to paper trade option writing, then you can go with a short straddle of the significant supports and resistances, because that is the points where most of the writers are standing already, so you might as well just get into line. Just try it out. Paper trade never hurts. Now when we check the PCR of both the indices, Nifty and Bank Nifty, PCR volumes, so both of them come to be more or less about 0.9, which is in the slightly bearish territory. It's not exceedingly bearish as what we had for the couple of previous trading sessions. So it's not at the point where we aggressively go for shorts or longs. At this point, I would personally advise you guys to take well confirmation of price action. Be conservative, don't be aggressive either side, and watch where it goes. Trade if you can, but don't take it as a necessity. You don't have to trade every day. Now moving on to the new segments that we have started, we have currencies and commodities. So GBP INR, the trade that we had for today in the watch list, not triggered, but the zones, as you can see, they acted as they should. Now for tomorrow, personally, you can trade the breakout of this zone or this zone. Not you guys, I'll be looking out for that. If you want, you can jump in with me. That's completely up to you. So you can either take a long position above 95 or a short under 94.75, depending on how it moves in the first hour or so. For commodities, we have silver. Now silver, as you can see, we had a long trade at 52,500 and it gave a clean target. Alright, 52,500 to 53,000, no sweat whatsoever. Quick 500 points on silver, which was it was a good trade, honestly. Now for tomorrow, there's no bias as such. I cannot give you guys one because the market is still running, commodities is still running. But as you can see, the zones are acting out pretty well. We had a supply, it is now acting as demand. Let's see how it goes. If you want the trades for commodities, you can check out the channel tomorrow before 9 a.m. as I said yesterday. For crude, we have the same thing. The zones that we had plotted, they're acting out pretty well. One key thing on crude is, if you are a commodities trader, if you are tracking crude, track the breakout of this 3080 level. It seems to be respected pretty nicely as of now, but the buying pressure seems to be rising with every dip. So let's see how that goes. If you are a crude trader, keep this level in mind. Now, these are all the charts that we had to discuss for tonight, guys. For the charts, the commodities charts, the currency charts, the indices charts, and the index option chain analysis, do check out the channel at the rate Apex FinServe on Telegram. That is uploaded every single day before 9 a.m. before the market opens. The watch list is also posted there, so you don't need to write it down like I do in the diary. You can simply take it there from the Telegram channel. Sorry for the delay, guys, and thank you so much for watching this video. Tomorrow is the expiry. I hope you have a good, green, exciting expiry trading session. That's it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night. Bye.